Hi Flosstube, it's Amy, the Gable Stitcher, back with my third update video. It is Monday, February 18th, 2019. Happy President's Day. If you're here in the US, happy Monday, anyplace else. It's been about 3 weeks since my last video. I had hoped to film sooner, but life happens, so here I am. I wanted to show a couple of finishes. They are old finishes. I showed in my last video my middle daughter Natalie's birth sampler, and I had said that this time I was going to show my other children's samplers. So, let's see. This is my youngest child sampler. This is Phoebe, and this is Long Dog Samplers, Bien of You, and it is done on a 40 count Newcastle linen, and I believe it's antique white or cream, and I did it in a Vicki Clayton hand dyed fiber. So I originally had purchased this to do for my middle daughter, but I did not start it initially. And when I had started it, Phoebe had already been born, and I decided that I liked the color in the sampler better with the name Phoebe than I did Natalie. So I decided to make it for Phoebe instead, and Natalie I made the baby garden for, just the end baby garden. So this is Phoebe's, and this pattern is still available, I believe, from Long Dog, and it was a lot of fun to stitch, a lot of fun. And Phoebe actually picked the frame herself, so I think she did a nice job. So it's a big sampler. So that's Phoebe's Long Dog, Bien of You. And then Abigail's sampler, it's much smaller. Abigail sampler is a Good Housewife sampler, and this is out of print, but it's not a unicorn. It's not hard to find. I see it pop up every now and then on Stash Unload. The colors that it's called for are browns and yellows, and I kept the browns and the yellows, added a little silver for the stars, but I changed the words and the border to blue and green. So this is also done with Vicki Clayton hand-dyed fibers, and it is done on a 40 count linen. I am unsure of the colors, but this came out, I like the way this one came out too. So I started and almost finished it after Abby was born, and then I put it away, and all I had left were these stars at the bottom, and I had lost some of my silks. So, and you can't buy Vicki Clayton hand-dyed fibers anymore, so I just found some DMCs that would work with it, and I like it. I think it looks nice. So that is child number one's birth sampler. So they all like their birth samplers. Somebody asked me, one of my friends asked me, like, does Abby not like hers because her sister's samplers are bigger? But I asked her, she's happy with it. She likes it. Not everybody gets the same size ice cream. Doesn't mean that you're not special. So they all have special meaning to me, and I figure when the kids are gone, they're going to be hanging in my house anyway, so I need to like them. So that's all three girl samplers. I'm going to try to pull a finish down off the wall for every video to show, kind of instead of doing a finish parade. I still want to do whip parade. I'm hoping to do it maybe the next couple of weeks. Just need to get into my closet where all my whips are. But I still do want to do that, and I want to do that relatively soon. But as far as current whips, let's get into those. So the first one is Linen and Threads Mystery 2019 Mystery Sal. And the title of this one is called Peacock Garden. And one part is released a month. So January is the peacock. February is his garden, the framework of the garden. So there is a website, Linens and Threads, and there's also a Facebook group, Linens and Threads, and the stitch along is a free stitch along. Just need to download it. So I am behind. This was a new start. I'm calling this my New Year, New Start. So it's kind of my freebie for the year. I am doing it on 28 count Monaco. It is an antique white. I'm doing it 1/1. And I have named my peacock Percy. And Percy is not done yet. So I'm doing Percy in 3808 DMC. And his crown, I believe, was 769. So I'm about halfway done with Percy because Percy still has a body and legs. So I would like to get caught up on this. I didn't start it until, I want to say, the last week of January. So, and I have not worked on it as much as I would have liked to this month. I would like to get, I won't get caught up by the end of February, but I'd like to at least have Percy done by the end of February and then start working on his garden. I am undecided whether or not I will stitch the entire design in 3808 or if I plan on, or if I'm going to do some different colors. So right now I'm thinking that I'm going to do the framework of the garden in a jewel green color. I haven't decided which. I've pulled some greens and I'm just going to see what will work. But I need to finish Percy first. So I'd like to do that this month. So that is whip number 1. Whip number 2 is Quaker Garden by Blackbird Designs. So this chart, I have been told, is also a unicorn. I didn't realize how much of a unicorn it was until people started contacting me and asking me if I wanted to sell it to them. Thank you for your interest. Unfortunately, at this point, I am not looking to sell this pattern when I'm done with it. I will likely pass it on to some local stitchy friends who want to stitch it and then decide from there. I hope that if you would like to stitch it, you will be able to find this pattern at some time to stitch because it is a beautiful pattern. So I am stitching this on R&R 30 count Garden Slate Java, I believe is the name of it. I have my little piece in there that says what color it is, little paper. So that's pretty true to color. Okay, and this is where I am right now. It's kind of like a mossy, swampy green color. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a little bit darker than what's showing in the video. So last time I worked on it, I worked some on this motif. I worked on the butterfly here, and I worked a little bit on the letters. And this is just about the halfway point. However, I have a bunch of filling in to do. Let's see those letters and flowers. So there's still those empty spots or spots that need to be filled in because there's a lot in it. This is, I often travel with this. It is only about 6 colors in the pattern, so it's easy to just put in a little zipper bag and carry with me. So that's what I did. And I believe I have a picture of it when I started working on it since the last video, so I will insert that at some point when I was talking about it. I'm filming in a different location this time. I'm filming in our library, which is a fancy name for our formal living room that we put bookshelves in. So we're not really formal living room people. My husband and I and the kids all really enjoy reading. So we decided to turn this room into a library. And it's my primary stitchy spot too. Sitting in my stitchy chair, have my Lowry here. And while this is a great room for stitching and reading, I'm not sure about filming. I'll probably get a tour of my house because I seem to be filming in a different location every time, trying to find the right spot. So, next WIP. Prairie Schooler, The Witching Hour. This is the cardstock, but this was recently re-released. So it is available. It's leaflet number 200. And I'm stitching the main motif, although I do like the ornaments too. I would like to stitch them at some point. So, I dropped it. This is Fun Stitch. It's a stitch on 32 count mystery linen, a piece that I found in my stash that fit. It's likely a Zweigart ivory. So it's Belfast. And here is where I am. So this is only about 4 colors. So once again, it's another great little travel piece. This past time I did the windows and the pumpkins and finished the house and a little bit of the trees. I love this guy. Look at him, he's throwing a pumpkin. So I'm part of the Facebook group Magical Stitches, School of Magical Stitches and Literature. And there are all types of challenges and homework. And one of the things in the group is there is a year-long challenge for extra credit stitching. And it's based on the number 7. There are 22 times in the Harry Potter series that the number 7 is mentioned. And there's different, if you have a stitching piece that relates to one of those, then you can do your 1,000 stitches on it to count for extra credit. And one of the 7 items is there are 7 owls that Harry and Ron receive. So this piece has 2 owls in it. So stitching it this weekend and diligently counting my stitches to work towards extra credit. And I'm almost there on that piece. Well, more than halfway there. So my friend Lissa from Alpha Stitchery was telling me about the yearly challenges and asking me how much I've done. And this was last month, end of January. And I said, oh, it's January. I'm like, I'll worry about that in a couple of months. And she's like, Amy, there's 22 of them. So to complete them, you really need to do 2 a month. Oh, it's February. I should probably look at them. So I did. And just looking at it, there's probably 6 or 7 I can easily fit in with my current WIPs. So we'll do those and start pondering the rest. So thank you, Lissa. My next one is Spooky Countdown by Primitive Hair. And I am doing this version all in one, not the individual ornaments. And my plan for that is to do 1 a month, one block a week. And if I do that, I will finish by Halloween. So I had fallen behind, but I caught up this past week. And I should be 7 blocks in. and I am almost done with my 8th block. So I'm going to hold that up. You can see it. So I dyed a piece of MGC textiles linen I had hanging around, coffee and tea dyed it. I love the look of the fabric. I'm not crazy about the fabric itself, but it looks great, so we're going to use it. This piece reminds me of Salem, Massachusetts, which is the area I grew up in. And you know, there is a 1692 Salem block, so there likely is a reason it reminds me of Salem. But when I was stitching it, it was bothering me because there isn't a block for the House of Seven Gables, and having worked there for many years and obviously loving it so much that took that as my name, GablesStitcher, for YouTube, I really wanted to put the House of Seven Gables in my stitchy spooky countdown. So I thought about designing one of the blocks as a gabled house and putting that in and trying to figure out where it would fit. And then I realized that block 8, so this here is actually block 7. This is block 8. So block 8 is books, and it says on this books, potions. But I said, how about I switch them and I can make this block H7G. So this is going to be my House of Seven Gables block. And I also have altered this block a little bit. I made one of the books purple. And I'm going to put a little purple in a couple of other places too. Like there's a witch's hat, and I'll make the strap on the witch's hat purple. Just because I felt like this needed purple. I love the colors in it, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the orange and the green. I mean, it really works well together. But I love purple. And purple makes me think Halloween. So that is my change so far. So this is block 7, now block 8. And this will be, next time you see it, because I didn't quite finish it, this will be the H7G block. So I still might do a gabled house. Like I can see it in my head. Whether or not I can convert to its paper, we'll see. But House 7 Gables will be in there with the book. My next whip is Satsuma Street, 12 Days of Christmas. And this I am doing the all together version as well. You can also do it as ornaments. The ornaments are adorable too, but I have great ideas of doing ornaments, but I never actually finish them into ornaments. So one piece is safer for me to get a finish for. So I am also doing this with Lissa from Alpha Stitchery, and we had started in September, and our plan was to do one block a month. So this should be my February block. 6 swans. I was very far behind last month. I'm not sure I have a picture of this one, but in January I had done 1, 2, and I had the head of the hen. That is all I had. So I was so far behind. I did do a lot. This is probably what I've stitched on most this month. I did do a lot, and I'm catching up. I'm not completely caught up, but I'm much further along. So I think I might be able to catch up next month. So yeah, those colors are pretty good. So I finished 3. I did 4. I'm not quite done with 4. I need to fill in the flowers, and I have a few more little bits to do. 4 is like the never-ending block. There are so many colors in 4, and so many, stitch here, a little stitch there, here a stitch, there a stitch, everywhere a stitch, stitch. So you're constantly changing your colors, but it's really cute. So I'm almost done with 4, and I'm about halfway done with 5. 5 has the same flowers on the bottom, and there's a couple of flowers in the rings, and there's a 5. So there's not, 5 is a pretty small block. So I have 10 more days this month. I really would like to finish 4 or 5, and you know, this is probably stretching it, but if I could do the rest of the top banner, I'd be very happy. So that's my plan. Not quite caught up, but much further caught up than what I was. This is on 28 count Monaco, white, 2/2. So it is lovely to stitch on and with. That is an at-home project. I don't take it with me because it's big and has a lot of colors. My last whip that I worked on in the last few weeks is Stitcherovia. Not All Who Wander Are Lost by Tolkien quote. So this is a small chart. It's only 55 by 82. However, there are a million colors on it. Not quite a million, but there's a lot. There's like 20 colors on it. There's 16 colors on it. So that's a lot of colors. So I'm making this for my husband. This is on Ivory Monaco, 28 count. I'm doing it 2/2. This is on the same fabric, actually the same piece of fabric as Percy is on the Peacock. So I'm about 3/4 of the way down. There is a mountain and water scene down here in Tolkien's name, and that's the bottom. So I like to work top down if I can on things, and then I do everything, back stitching, if I'm able to, bead everything from the top down, because once I am done with it, I hate going back to finish it. So this is going to go in the library. It should fit into a 5x7 frame when I'm done. And I had this idea, I don't know, a couple of months ago, to do all types of bookish quotes and literature-related cross stitches to put in this room, because I thought it would be a really neat little touch. So this is the first. So we'll start with that. And to show you how many colors there are, I use these little floss boxes a lot of times when I'm working on projects to organize them. I tend to pull colors for the project and keep them together, so I'm not constantly looking into and pulling out from my master set. So in here I have 12 days, Satsuma Street, and that's Stitcherovia, and the box is full for those two projects. So the Stitcherovia, these three, and the rest of them is Satsuma Street. That's why I do those projects at home. I don't carry them with me. But if I needed to, all I need to do is grab the box and the pattern and the chart, and I'm good. The fabric, and I'm good to go. So those are my whips. My plans for the next few weeks. I really would like a finish. I know I just finished something last month, but in my head, I'm thinking I really wanted 10 to 12 finishes this year, and I'm not going to get one in February. Because also in my head, I'm thinking I would like 2 finishes for every 1 start. I'm not counting Percy because I figure you get 2 freebie starts a year. You get a New Year, new start, and a birthday start. But I want to start something else. My birthday is not until July, so I need another finish or 2. So The Witching Hour by Prairie Schooler, I could feasibly finish in the next month. There's not that much done. And also the Tolkien, Not All Who Wander Are Lost, could feasibly be finished in the next month. So if those 2 things are finished, I would like to start something. I would also like to get caught up by the end of March on 12 Days of Christmas. So that would mean doing 2 blocks next month, which I think is doable because I essentially have done almost 3 blocks this month, and the month's not quite over. And I would like to do more in Percy. I don't see myself being caught up with Percy in the next few weeks because I'm not done with January. There's no way I'm going to do January and February in a couple of weeks, not with over one. But I would like to make a little bit more progress on him than I've made. I worked on him a lot when I started him, but I don't think I've worked on him much the last couple of weeks. I started an Instagram GablesStitcher, and I have been putting pictures of my stitching up. I'm trying to put up every night or when I switch a project, so you can follow me on there and you can see what I'm working on. And I have a little bit of haul too. We celebrated Christmas with my father-in-law and my husband's stepmother last month, middle of January, end of January. And I had put some items, cross-stitch items, on my Amazon wish list, and they know I love to cross-stitch, so they got them for me. So I have the adapter for a scroll rod for my Larry. I have not used it yet. I would like to try this out soon. I have probably about 3 large projects on scroll rods that I never work on because I hate holding the scroll rod. But this should work on the Lowry, so we'll try that. So thank you for that. I got 2 Mill Hill button and bead kits. So there's a snow globe. And the other one is Believe. So I really like both of these. Like, I don't know which one I like more. Today I like this one more, but tomorrow it might be this one. So I have never actually done a Mill Hill kit. I have these 2, and I think I have one more, and I would really like to try them. They also got me Jane Netley Mayhew's Cross Stitch Safari. This book was hard to get for a little while, I think because it was in hardcover, and then they reprinted it in softcover. All I know is it's kind of been on my radar for the last year or 2. Jessie Marie, from Jessie Marie Does Stuff, is working on the elephants, and they're gorgeous. But when I was looking for the book, I couldn't find it. And then this fall, I noticed it was back on Amazon, so I put it in my wish list. And guys, this book is gorgeous. So many of the patterns in here are just amazing. I'm not going to do a flip through, but there's like 3 or 4 in here. I'm going to show you this. Love. Elephants. Amazing. So that's the one Jessie Marie is doing. Love it. The chimpanzee. Love him. We have a couple of really nice zoos around us. And whenever we go, like, we just love looking at the monkeys and the chimps. The cheetahs. The cheetahs are big. The elephants aren't that big. Even the chimp isn't that big. The cheetahs are a big design, but oh god, they're gorgeous. And let's see if I can find the other one. This one I don't think I would do right away. This one's gorgeous too. And then I love this one too. I think this is one of, I think this and the elephants might be my favorite. Oh, I don't know. I like the cheetahs too. The giraffe. How beautiful are they? Gorgeous. So, I love watching the giraffes at the zoo too. It's really, they're just such amazing designs in here. So, if this book's available again, if you're interested in it, it is on Amazon. I'll try to link it below. zebras. Gorgeous. All right. And the last item I got from my in-laws, who were very generous. The small little sampler that I should have done by next month. It's called Dutch Beauty. It is huge. So it is, I don't even know the dimensions of it. I have to look it up. The original is 94 by 61 centimeters. So I can't do metric in my head. But one of my real life stitching friends did this sampler, and she did it on 40 count, and it covers the area at the head of her full-size bed. So you're talking probably a yard of fabric. I don't even think you can fit it on a fat half. It's really, really pretty. Emily C. from Eclectic Possessions is stitching it. It's charted for in DMC. It's by Permanent Copenhagen. So it's on Amazon. It's also 123 carries it. I think 123 actually has it as a better price. But I need to tell my relatives to look at my 123 wish list. Save them some money. So the story of the sampler is it says, a Dutch Beauty is the name for this wonderful sampler made around 1790 by a 13-year-old girl from the Low Countries. Only knowing her initials, HVZ, we still admire this embroidery on which she succeeded to bring alive 68 creatures with needle and thread. This book contains the complete cross-stitch pattern. She was 13. So, just, it's really gorgeous. And really, the picture doesn't even give it justice. It's just amazing. So, I have a couple of pieces of 46 count that I picked up in the last year from Needleworker's Delight in New Jersey. And if I like stitching on it, I will see if I can get a piece of 46 count big enough for this, because it would be smaller than a 40 count. But I would do it on a 40 count if I didn't do it on 46. It's really pretty. And then I got a couple of things off of stash unloading sites on Facebook. Got an Ackworth school sampler. Was it Hannah Horsfall, 1809? I actually had never seen this one before, but I love the Ackworth samplers. And there were a few years where they were being reproduced and easy to find. And now they're not. So when I see one at a good price that I don't have, I tend to snag it. Blackbird Designs, Feliz Navidad. Most people have seen that. And the last one, this was on my, oh, I wish I grabbed it when it was still in print list. It's Mirabilia, Garden Verses. I don't know what number mirror this is. On here? I don't see it on here. But it's an old one. It's 1994. And every time I saw it, it was at a crazy price, or maybe not a crazy price, just a price I wasn't willing to pay. And recently I saw it and it went up for like 15 bucks, so I grabbed it. So the package is shop worn, but the pattern and sign is fine. And I think that's gorgeous. So she's a big girl. 228 by 299. So Big Projects seems to be the name of the theme of the stash acquisition, this video. And I think that's it. So I will edit and post. I filmed this on my laptop versus my phone. I'm hoping the picture and sound quality is pretty good. And I hope to be back in a week or two. I might do a whip parade next because it's fresh in my mind and I would like to do it. I also want to see what I have in there so I can make plans to try to finish a few of those this year. The School of Magical Stitches and Literature has been great because it has forced me to work on more than one thing at a time. I know a lot of people are one of a time stitchers. I'm not really a one at a time stitcher, but I tend to work on one or two things at a time until I'm either sick of them and then they go in my pile of whips, or I finish it. And I have been working on 5 or 6 things pretty consistently, which is good because I'm making good progress on 5 or 6 things, which means I'm going to have a bunch of finishes in a few months. So the diversity is good. But I want to see what's in my whips. So if I'm pulling them out, I might as well do a whip video. So that's it. I will put links in the description box below, my Instagram, and some of the charts that are available and some of the groups I mentioned. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you for watching and happy stitching. Bye.